The GazTell 450 infrared detector is made up of the detector and its peripheral but optional accessory modules. Shown here are the detector head, a simple local alarm module, also known as the SLAM, which is a relay module for low, high, and fair relay contact closures, and the extension module, also known as the XMO, which is typically used when the detector is installed in locations that are inaccessible for viewing or to make it easier to perform calibration, such as above drop ceilings or if they are mounted down into pits. These modules can be mounted up to 400 feet between each other and the detector head. To begin the installation, mount the detector and its optional modules if required onto 3/4 inch NPT conduit, making sure the conduit is properly secured. In many applications, the detector will be suspended from the conduit in open areas, such as ceilings, but if mounted against a wall, it is advisable to place a bend in the conduit to allow easy access to the detector for removing or when a foam splash guard might be used. Once the components are mounted, wiring them up can be accomplished by pulling a 5-conductor cable between the individual modules and a 2 or 3-conductor cable to the power supply and signal output, then terminated using the supplied 5-pin terminal block. For this video demo, we have used short lengths of conduit and therefore short wire runs, but you will need to pull the cables through the conduit using your typical pulling techniques. Once the cables have been pulled through the conduit, terminate the wires with the 5-pin terminal block supplied. Make sure the wires are secure by giving them a light tug. Then plug them into the 5-pin socket inside the housing. The 5-conductor cable is to transmit the 4 to 20 milliamp signal and the RS-485 communication between the detector and the accessory modules. The remaining 2 wires will supply the plus and minus DC power. The units require 9 to 42 volts DC. Both the top socket and the bottom socket are identical, and the plug can be plugged into either end, but obviously the socket closer to the entry point makes more sense. The SLAM will require additional wiring for the 3 relays available for alarms. Each relay has a common, normally open, and normally closed connection. Read the manual for more detail on wiring. Once all the cables are connected, you can make the last connection to power and power up the system to make sure all the modules turn on properly. For this video, we will close them all up before we supply the power. The detector access port plug is reinstalled into the body first by hand and then secured using the optional flame arrestor access port tool. This tool has 2 pins that easily insert into the plug or flame arrestor to easily tighten them. The covers on both the SLAM and the XMO are secured using the supplied 4-20 bolts. Make sure you clean the metal surfaces of the cover and the body before placing the cover back on. Secure the bolts using a 7/16 inch wrench or socket. As you can see, I have chosen to hang the covers off the bottom bolt hole of the body to prevent contaminating or misplacing the SLAM cover and preventing strain on the XMO display cable if it were just to hang there. Once completely closed up, you can supply power to the system to ensure your system has been installed properly. If 9 to 42 volts DC power is supplied, the detector and XMO will display warm-up for approximately 40 seconds, while the SLAM, if it's installed, should be blinking green. This concludes the installation portion of the GazTell 450 video. Please watch the other GazTell 450 videos for instructions on how to set up and configure the detector head and its accessory modules and perform calibration.